Yo, what's going on, folks? It's your favorite bus driver here, Mr. Reedus, and welcome to the Bus Driver Chronicles, man. Look, I hope y'all had a dope weekend, whatever your weekend looked like. If you did something exciting, if you just chilled, if you had to work, whatever it was, I hope you found joy, peace, love, and happiness and laughter somehow, some way. Hope you had a great weekend. Thank you all so much for joining the Bus Driver Chronicles tonight. Got a few conversations I want to have with you all. Got a special guest joining me tonight, my boy Lakuta Farmer, who's going to join us from WEB Du Bois. Excited to have him on tonight. But as always, you know, the first thing you got to do when you hop in, make sure you say hi, hello, what's up, how you doing, how you living, all that good stuff. Be nice, be polite, speak to your boy, speak to one another. Also, you know, smash that like button, heart button, smile button, cry button, laugh button, whatever it is. Do me a favor. Do your boy a favor. Interact with the video. The more you interact with the video, the more eyes are on the podcast, the more people can engage, the more people can be informed, the more people can participate, laugh, fun, all that good stuff. That's what we're going to do tonight. All right. So in the meantime, y'all know what it is. I'll give you a little time to get in. As you get in, just make sure you speak to me. Speak to each other. Like, can you do that for me? Can you do that for me? But for now, a little bit more of the wheels on the bus. Let's go. Can be informed. More people can participate. I knew that was gonna happen. Laugh, fun, all that good stuff. That's what we're going to do tonight. All right. What's up, folks? Welcome to the Bus Driver Chronicles. Give me a little housekeeping moment for 1 second. I got to ask something in the comments for y'all for the question of the day. I apologize that I didn't get this in here a little bit sooner than now. All right, so in the meantime, y'all know what it is. But it keeps talking over me. My bad. My apologies. Again, y'all, it's your favorite bus driver here, Mr. Reedus. Welcome to the Bus Driver Chronicles. Man, listen, if you're not familiar with the Bus Driver Chronicles, it's just an opportunity for me to share with y'all the goings on of what I experienced as a bus driver in these JCPS streets. If you're not familiar with it, that stands for Jefferson County Public Schools, where I'm located here in Louisville, Kentucky. If you're not from here, if you are from here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yo, again, thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Gonna have a little bit of fun tonight. Not so much, a little bit of seriousness, but a little bit of fun. We had a really informative conversation last week with Pastor Tim Finley, my sister Sharita Walden, just discussing the root cause, what we believe to be one of the biggest causes of the bus driver shortage that we are experiencing, not just in JCPS, not Kentucky, but really nationwide. So if you were a part of that, if you were able to participate, thank you so much for tuning in. If you were not a part of it, go back, check it out. You might learn a few things, okay? All right. So before we get started tonight, man, I want to share with y'all a quick little story about something that happened on my bus last week, okay? Before I bring on my special guest, give me 1 second. I'm a little thirsty. And I'm gonna apologize to y'all also right now. Listen, it is allergy season, and your boy is all up in here. I'm on my medication. I got my little Navage nasal cleaner, all of that stuff. I'm on it, but allergies don't care nothing about that right now. So I apologize if you see me sneezing, I'm trying not to blow my nose, man. Y'all just bear with me. I'm trying to be a good host tonight, all right? Again, if you're just not hopping in, be sure to say hello. What's up? Speak to your boy. I apologize. Before I get into my story, let me not be rude. Who said hi? What's up? What's going on, Terry? How we doing today? Hope you're doing well. What's going on, Kenya? Hope you're having a great day. I see Dana just hopped in here. Keisha hopped in here. Make sure when you hop in again, speak to your boy. Say hello. Speak to one another. Be polite. Also, check out the question of the day. Question of the day is, have you ever been suspended? Have you ever been suspended? And if so, why'd you get suspended? What'd you do? What happened? Put it in the comments. I might read a couple of them. If you put them in the comments, I'm going to assume that you're okay with me speaking about it on the live. All right. Well, I'm curious if you've ever been suspended. I'm curious to know what you done did, or were you just in the wrong place at the wrong time? Were you just hanging around the wrong people and you got grouped into a situation? I don't know. These things happen. Okay. But yeah, we're going to hop in and out of that question on tonight. Have you ever been suspended? And if so, why? Y'all go ahead and throw that in the comments tonight. So really quick here, little story that happened. I think it was Thursday or Friday of last week. So I had a kid on one of my elementary runs in the afternoon who was in trouble. He was getting on the bus, and I noticed he was a little off. And I was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And he just had his head down. He said, "I'm in trouble." I said, "What happened?" I said, "What happened? What'd you do?" He said, I hit a girl." I said, "You hit a girl? What? Why'd you do that?" He just kept shaking his head. I said, "All right, man. I don't have time to have a full-blown conversation. I'm trying to load my bus. We got places to be, trying to get these kids home." His stop is, I think, the third stop in my afternoon run. I'll pull up. His dad is always there to pick him up. His dad, it's him and his brother. Him and his sister to pick him up every day. I'll pull up, and his dad is waiting. All I hear is, I was like, what's going on? I turn around, I see he is blubbering. I mean, sobbing, audibly, visibly, snot bubbles, tears. I mean, he's wailing. And I'm like, yo, what? I said, what happened? I'm like, making sure I didn't stop the bus too fast. He didn't fall. Did somebody hit him? Did I miss a quick little fight? You know, I'm really good at checking my mirrors, checking my mirrors, making sure nothing popping off. And I look at him, I said, man, what's going on? He's walking to the bus, getting to a stop. I said, what happened? And he goes, he said, I'm in trouble. My daddy's going to get me. I said, what? I said, my dad, he was, this kid, I automatically understood his pain. I'm going to be real with y'all. He was so afraid of what was going to happen because he knew his dad wasn't about that. He knew what his dad was on. He knew he's not supposed to hit a girl, or he knew he just wasn't supposed to be in trouble. Period. I don't know, but this kid ain't been touched yet. Ain't seen the belt. Ain't seen the hand. I haven't even seen. I saw his dad, so his dad wasn't at the stop making like a menacing face. He wasn't pacing like, wait till I get this boy, man. Wasn't nothing like that popping off, man. Wasn't nothing like that popping off. But this kid was, he was terrified. And he said, my dad, I said, hey man, I said, I don't know why you hit the girl. I said, but it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. You're gonna live to see another day, dude. It's okay. He even started doing a sucking of the. You ever been whooped? You ever been whooped so bad, or even before you already sucking up your bottom lip? He was there. Ain't been touched yet. And I was like, yo. I said, I know that fear. I know how that goes. And this is what I want to speak to really quick. The kid survived. I saw him the next day. He was on the bus again today. He's okay. He was having fun, all of that stuff. But I want to speak to that really, really quick before I bring on my guest, man, because one of the core reasons I believe, and a lot of our bus drivers feel that is the core cause of the bus driver shortage is student behavior. Students misbehaving in school. And I'm gonna put it like this: students not revering authority, not respecting authority. And when I see that kid and how he responded to not even being touched yet by his dad, I can tell you one thing. I don't believe his dad beats him or abuses him. I've talked with his father. I mean, I don't know the goings on in that home. But the fear, and I don't want to just say the fear, but the reverence that kid had for his father is the type of parenting I support. I'm say, yo, as children, like we use the word fear because we don't understand the word reverence to revere someone. But we feared punishment. We feared getting a whooping. We feared being on punishment. Those were the consequences if we messed up, if we misbehaved. And I think a lot of that is missing today in today's society, and these kids are being raised there. And even if they fear or revere their parents, it seems that there's a disconnect in how that translates to authority in other areas in their lives. Maybe they do respect their parents and they're like, okay, hey, I'm afraid of my, when they get to school, it's not translating over to respecting their teachers, revering and respecting the bus drivers, the authoritative figures, the principals, staff, faculty, whomever. There seems to be a disconnect. And so yeah, that's part of what I just had to share that story, man, because I thought something went down. I really had to check myself. I said, did I break too hard? And I'm like, I don't break too hard. So I was like, did he fall? And even if I did kind of break hard, they know to stay in their seat until the bus has come to a complete stop. I have gone over this rule several times. They don't follow it hardly ever. But the good thing is that I'm not, and I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. I know some drivers support this. I will never brake check any of my kids. I'm never gonna do that. I don't have to. My kids know what's up. I don't have any issues on my bus that I can't handle outside of a stern conversation. I'm gonna have to get them get in their face. Let me ask y'all a question. I'm gonna ask y'all a quick question. And I want you to answer this in the comments. If it's telling a kid, don't make me put my hands on you, is that a threat? Like if I say to a kid, yo, hey, don't make me put my hands on you, is that a threat, or is that just like is that a threat? I don't think that's a threat. Y'all let me know. Do you think I get in trouble for saying something like that? I think that is just a promise. I think for me, more than anything, it's just a tactic, an effort to get that kid to behave so they don't know what it's going to feel like for my hands to be put on. I said that to a kid today. he's a little firecracker, man. He's always doing something. Every time I turn, he's like, well, always on the floor and just does the most, man. And he did that today. And I kept wrestling with the kid in the seat. I turned back and said, hey, you don't want me to put my hands on you. And he straightened up right away. I said, you don't want me to put my hands on you, just like that. He straightened up. After I said it, I was like, is that something I can be written up? Like if he went home and said the bus driver said he was going to put his hands on me, I don't know. Ain't nothing happened yet. So y'all, we'll see what happens. Y'all, I ain't checked I didn't ate. I don't know if I got something on my teeth or not. If I do, y'all just ignore that. But all right, man. Michelle, I'm gonna hop in the comments really quick and I'm gonna bring on my boy. My boy Kunta is waiting. So Michelle said, I say it all the time. Cool. Michelle, are you an educator? Holler at me about that. I might pull somebody. I'm trying to get some. I didn't. Never mind. I'm not gonna tell myself. Drees, my boy Drees said, nah. Cool. I got a couple people in support of don't make me put my hands on you, because I didn't physically touch the kid. I didn't put my hands on him. Not to say I never adjusted him in the seat or anything like that, but in that moment, I didn't do it. Tori said you might have reminded him of his parents. That's exact. I'm saying, like, yo, I find myself saying things to these kids that I remember being said to me when I was a kid that put a little in my chest, to put a little in my heart. Like, I don't want to know what that looks like. You said don't make you put, you know what? You ain't gotta worry about it. I don't want to find out what that looks like for you to put your hands on me. Or I already know what it's like when you put your hands on me. I don't need that. I don't need anybody else doing that to me. I'm smooth. But he straightened up, got in the seat. I didn't really have too many more problems out of him. But he's a young one. He's kids with all this energy and don't know what to do with it. So that's a day-to-day thing. But all right, man, I'm gonna stop talking so much. I'm gonna keep talking, but I'm gonna bring in my special guest. I think he's in the waiting room, Coach Farmer. That's what I'm going to call you. I was going to ask you, my guy. I was like, I don't know how he wants me to address him. So I'm just going to say Coach Farmer. We're going to pull you on right now, my bro. Let's bring you on into the Bus Driver Chronicles.
What's good, my brother? How you doing?
What up? Let me get you on the screen. Get your tag about. There we go. What's up, my guy? How we doing today, bro?
Man, I'm well, man. How about yourself?
I'm wonderful, man. Wonderful. It's another day on this side of glory. I can't complain one bit.
Yes, sir. Glory.
Yes. Don't get it started. Don't get it started. They ain't ready. This is the Bus Driver Chronicles.
Hey, they better get ready. If they ain't ready, they better get ready. Hey,
yeah, let's go. I'm loving the family. I'm loving the backdrop back there, bro. Got the family in there. Come on.
Oh man,
Let's go. Got
that's
the.
all I'm about, man. I'm
That's
about
what's up,
family
man.
every
I
day, all
love
day.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, again, hey, bro, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for making time. I know you've worked a long day. I've worked a long day. Any of my guests that come on Monday nights, I'm so appreciative that you're adding a little more time to your day to share with us here on the Bus Driver Chronicles.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Thanks
first
for
off, man,
having me. Thanks for having me,
oh,
bro.
absolutely, yeah, for sure. Oh,
Listen,
really,
I'm honored.
really quick before I get started, there's a
I'm honored.
congratulations in order, I
For
believe.
what? What I do?
Y'all just had the don't let me I'll research, Ricky. You had it in your mind. The celebration of I think it's Black Educator.
Oh, listen, yes, yes. The
Yeah,
celebration of
yeah.
color.
Right, of color. You were recognized, right?
Yeah, from DP. Yeah, man. I got nominated for
Go,
athletic
go get
director
the
of the
plaque.
year.
Go,
No.
go. He's like about to pull on the screen.
No.
Y'all know, just so y'all know
No, I had
what I
to
do
move
out
something.
here.
No.
Hey man, congratulations, bro. For sure.
I
To be
appreciate
honored
it.
and recognized for your service, here in the school system. We appreciate you, man. But yo, let me I'm gonna stop talking for a second. First of all, just let the people know who you are, Coach Farmer. Your title, it's already in the title of the page, but your title, what you do, where you do it, what's going on with you, my guy.
Man, for those of y'all that do not know me, I'm the LaQuinta Farmer. I am a product of JCPS. Um, since second grade, I suppose. Yeah, since second grade, I've been in JCPS. I was a male high school grad, a mighty Kentucky State thoroughbred. Go
Okay,
Breads, say Breads.
let's
I
go.
am a proud member of the alumni of Kentucky State University. I've been in the city teaching since. Well, actually, I started teaching in Frankfort, Kentucky, at Western Hills High School, and then I came to Louisville, and I've been here ever since, man. So going on 23 years
Okay.
in the business. So just trying to do my thing to help kids, man. I go Coach Farmer is my moniker because
Okay.
I think God gave me that instead of pastor. He gave me coach. Uh,
Right. Okay.
so my ministry was on the football field and on the
Yeah.
track. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So being able to, being able to minister to kids in that way, man, being able to give back to what gave me life, gave me a start,
Mm.
it was major for me. So I don't have a choice but to be Coach Farmer forever, man.
Let's go.
I'm still hanging with people that I coached in my first job. So
Mm.
and I can't ever look that in the face and not be grateful for all the kids, all the adults now that I've been able to mentor, coach, and just be a part of their lives, man. I've been in people's weddings. I've officiated their weddings.
All right.
Um,
Cool.
I've been there when they had their babies.
Mhm.
I've been, just being part of people's lives, man. Building relationships is the main thing. You know what I mean? And I've been doing that for years. So I'm happy to still be able to do that now as the athletic director at WEB.
At
W dot E dot B dot.
Right, right. I had when I always knew how to spell it, but I didn't know there was a space between the do and the boys. I
Oh
like put it
no.
together. I was like, oh, it's like W dot E dot B dot space
So
do
you was putting it all
space.
together. Excuse me, I got to move around. But yeah, you was putting it all together, man.
Man, I was like, okay, but that's what I want to make sure I put it right. I want to respect the name, how it's written, how it's shown,
Yes, sir.
the whole shebang bang for
Right, right,
sure. And
right, right.
speaking of babies, I know you're talking about you officiating. One of the coolest things, man, I think that I'm sure was probably one of the greatest moments and honors of your life, man. You had the opportunity to baptize your son not that long ago, correct?
Yes, man.
I ain't
Correct,
trying to
man.
get your emotion. When I saw the picture, I was like, that's beautiful.
I
That's
got to
amazing.
baptize my oldest son a couple weeks ago, man, on Easter.
Yeah.
And it was to watch your firstborn grow and mature to the point where I didn't even act. I had not really said to him, you need to give your life to Christ. You know how people put that pressure on their children.
Yeah.
I didn't do that with him, man. I just kind of let him try to figure it out on his own, try to figure out where he wanted to be. And he called me one day, just strangely. So a little back on that, my youngest daughter came up to me in church one Sunday and was like, "Dad, I want to get baptized." And I was like, "Okay, all right, well, we can do that."
Mm-hmm.
So a couple weeks later, she gets baptized. He calls me the next day, didn't know she got baptized, calls me the next day and
Oh,
said, "Dad, I want to get baptized too. I want to get baptized."
yeah.
And I was like, man, I mean, at that moment, I just started crying at work.
I
Like,
know you
come
did.
on, man. Come on. God, what are you doing? God, I hear
I
you, but
know
God,
you did, bro. Oh
man,
man.
listen, you know, get that rumble over here.
You start palpitating just a little.
They right.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah, yeah.
I ain't crying, you
Oh,
crying. You know what I
it's allergies,
mean?
man.
It's
Baby need a
allergy
dust
season.
in here.
Right. So I got to baptize. I got four. I got to baptize all of them but one. And you know, my youngest son got baptized last Easter, and my middle daughter, she's 12.
Mhm.
I didn't get to baptize her, but I got to baptize everybody else. So that it's an unreal feeling, man. Like cold chills. Like
Man,
you I even now, man, just thinking about it, I'm getting goosebumps, man, because I feel like whenever God's presence is near me anyway, I get goosebumps. I kind of get a little chill in my body. I
mm,
get that just thinking about it, man. I get that just, you know, walking into just hugging him, hugging them, you know what I mean? I
yeah,
get that, man. So it's a spiritual thing for me, to be able to have those moments with my kids, man.
that's awesome, man. Beautiful, beautiful, man. And
Yeah.
I know we've known each other not a long time. We
Right.
met through a mutual friend.
Mhm.
Um, but man, every time I've seen you with your family, with your children, be it in person, seeing the pictures and stuff online, man, you are an amazing example of what a father exemplifies, man. It's just me looking from the outside in. We ain't had these deep talks,
Right,
but
right, right.
just knowing you through our mutual friend, you being good people. Actually, more than one. We actually just found out we got other mutual friends just a couple weeks ago,
Exactly.
actually.
Right. Yeah.
Man, so
We connected, didn't even know
yeah, in all these different ways, bro. And I just
it.
actually I just had your pastor, I had Pastor Tim. He was on with me
Yeah.
last week,
Right.
on the live last week, bro. So I just want to commend you just off that. I've never told you this. I've never said this to you. I'm gonna say it publicly. Man, keep doing what you do, man. You are exemplifying what fatherhood looks like. And not even just for your biological kids, with you being the athletic director at WEB. I am sure that you are setting a great example for the young men that you coach there, that you're tutoring,
Tutoring.
mentoring. I was trying to say
Mentor.
tutelage,
I think I was with
tutelagizing.
you.
And so I want to definitely just give you your flowers just from here. As a bus driver, friend, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. As you can see, nothing what you're doing is not going unrecognized. You were just honored and recognized for your service. So I want to
I
put that out
appreciate
there
that.
to you, man. Blessings to you. I know people are like, when they gonna get talking about what we supposed to be talking about. So let's hop into it. So
Let's jump.
you
Let's
are
jump.
you are athletic director
Yeah.
of WEB Du Bois. Now you're on campus, you're on site
Yeah.
throughout the day, correct?
Yeah. All day.
So I want you to give me your perspective or what you're seeing. How is the busing crisis, if you will, how is it impacting the students at WEB from what you're seeing, if at all?
So buses in general are a challenge, and I know from like talking to other teachers in other states, you know, this is not a singular issue. This is
Mm-hmm.
a nationwide issue, man. Just to find transportation to get kids from point A to point B is rough, man. And you know, as this city expands, so let me just backtrack a little bit. So I've been doing this since 2001, 2000 really 2000, 2001.
Mm-hmm.
The buses in Frankfurt really wasn't a problem. You know, a lot of parents, especially at Western Hills, brought their kids to school because we had a lot of rural area kids. You know, they lived on the farm. Buses just didn't go out there, and if they did, they didn't go deep into, you know, Owington and other places in the county. But you know, when I got to Jefferson County, I used to be like, man, it is over 100 schools here. How in God's name we gonna get all these kids to school? But it happened, and it happened for years. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Now we did have kids getting up at 5 in the morning to catch a bus to go to school all day, and then not getting home till 4 o'clock in the day. You know what I mean? Like that's a full day's work, a
Yeah,
full day's work. You know what I mean? And these kids are experiencing those things early. You know what I mean? Um, it impacts all of us, no matter what we do. If I live on 40th in Market and I go to Eastern, if I miss the bus, I'm done. You know what I mean? If I miss that bus, I'm done. So
hmm
however that goes, it's very difficult for those things to find a way for somebody that doesn't experience these things to try to logistically make those things happen for people that don't live in this place in those places. You know
yeah.
what I mean? If a kid that lives way out, I don't know, out Bardstown Road goes to Shawnee or go PRP at that. That's a long way to go and a rough ride every day.
That's a
You got to
haul.
go
Yeah.
to, yeah, you got to go to one place. I remember when we was at Doss, man, we had kids that had to come from out east. They go to a compound, they transfer at the compound, go to another compound, transfer at that compound, then get on the bus and go to Doss. That's a
Oh yeah.
lot to do. That's a lot of
Depots.
responsibility
Yeah.
too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. And then when you think about it, why do children or why do parents want to send their kids to these schools that are not in their neighborhoods?
Right.
Um, and
That's a
then
whole
this is
big discussion.
right. Here's where we dig more into
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about equity and how schools in these revised schools are not up to par with these other schools. They don't have the
hmm
same level of education, the same level of the facilities aren't kept like these other schools, so on and so forth. So and here at JCPS, they said, hey, we're going to offer busing to everybody,
right.
and you're talking about offering busing to one of the largest school districts. Period.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of like it was one of those things where it was like, yo, this is a great thing that we can do this. But now it's like, did you all not foresee the potential disaster that this could be? If there is a bus driver shortage, if for any reason, this happens, and that's where we are now. That's where we
Yeah,
are now.
yeah,
Where it seemed or it was working ish, for a good while. But the bus drivers, the amount of bus drivers out here on these streets has been declining over the past several years. It's not like it just happened in 2022,
right.
2021, 2023 this
Yeah,
year. It's been steadily, but it really hit, especially after COVID. It was a really big drop off.
right,
And
right.
it was like, oh, that was my perfect time to get out. Um, you know,
Yeah,
um, so my thing is one of my biggest things is I know I haven't personally discussed it. I feel that one of the biggest causes, along with a lot of us bus drivers and even civilians and people, feel that poor student behavior is one of the main reasons why people don't want to drive the bus. Do you feel that that is a legitimate claim from what you see, what you hear, what you experience?
yes. It's a definite legitimate claim because even activity bus drivers, bro, like trying to keep them around, especially like the way kids act, the way kids talk now. Like I had
Mm,
to last week alone, I had a friend of mine that drives a bus for me, man, and she texted me like, "Hey, these kids was cussing. They was talking about doing X, Y, and Z. Man, I
mm.
got in my car and met them at the track meet,
I
and then
know you did, bro.
met the other team at the flag football game. Like, hey, we not doing this. We at Du Bois aren't playing this game with these bus drivers, bro. I need every single one of them to continue to drive for me. And if they're doing me a favor, that means they're doing you a favor. This is a
Mm,
privilege, and they have to
mhm,
be reminded of that, right? But I think one thing is different is the discipline is different, right? When I rode the bus when I was younger, man, we were scared to death of our bus driver. His name was Larry. And if you moved too much, Larry was smashing them brakes and you was going way up front. Larry, you talked about brake checking, and I started
Oh
laughing,
man,
man. But like, it was a respect we had for Larry, though.
yeah.
Now, not to say we didn't have our fun on the bus, right?
Hmm.
We had little skittle fights on the bus. You know what I mean? The whole bus throwing skittles and sprees and everything everywhere.
Oh
You know what I
man.
mean? We had those times, but more than likely, Larry was shutting it down. And then we had Miss Turner. Miss Turner was the disciplinarian too. And I think a lot of the bus drivers had a little more leeway then than they do now,
Oh, for sure,
right? Because
for
I
sure.
Miss Turner didn't have a issue with cussing you out.
Mm,
If you don't sit your little punk, blah, 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 blah.
I believe
Okay,
it.
all right, excuse me. I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And right there, that speaks to I'm gonna tie this into two things. For one, I'm gonna jump right off the Miss Turner thing because she spoke to y'all the way y'all understood it.
Right,
She
right.
spoke to y'all in y'all's lingo, y'all's language. We have a certain culture. Our parents talk to us a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So when we hear words and tones, certain, we respond differently.
Yeah,
That's something I notice on the bus. I have certain kids in certain neighborhoods I know, and certain types of kids I know. I can simply say, "Hey, have a seat, sit down."
right.
And another kid I'm at, but if you don't sit I gotta say it differently because have a seat doesn't have the same. They don't respond to it the same way.
They don't, and it's crazy. But even as a teacher, I say all the time, man, you gotta know how a kid ticks. What
Yeah,
makes a kid move? As a coach as
yeah.
well, you gotta know what makes somebody move, what makes them move, what makes them tick, what you can say to somebody, what you can't say to somebody. You gotta know how to figure that part out. Now, I can say XYZ to little Johnny, but I can't say that to little Bobby over here because little
Mhm.
Bobby might break down crying and then call his
Oh
mama.
man,
Oh
and that's
my
the whole
God.
thing.
And then it's
it's
a
a,
whole other
it's the
thing.
whole thing. And the conversation
Well,
little Johnny has with his mom and dad is something treacherous.
that
Now you gotta try to de-escalate that if they come to the stop or if they call the compound. And it's a whole So I mean, I think I will say this because while the student behavior is a thing, I will say this that I think what would be beneficial for some bus drivers, if we had a certain types of training and them better understanding the culture and the areas in which that we're transporting children. Like if you better understand how, building a rapport with the kid or understanding, their side of the tracks a little bit, it helps us to better communicate and i.e. discipline, as best as we can.
well, that goes to building relationships though.
Yeah, building
Because
that
if
rapport.
if
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I can build a relationship with a kid and his parent, then
yeah,
that makes my job a lot easier, right? I didn't
yeah.
have many problems inside the classroom because I built relationships with these kids. You know what I mean? I didn't have many problems as a coach either because I built relationships with my kids. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You have to have that capacity to say, you know what? Let me put my ego aside and let me learn who this kid is, or let me
Mhm.
learn who their parent is. Like you said, there should be trainings to do so. There should be people out there that's like, you know what? Okay, I've experienced this. I've lived through this. So let me put that out there so I can teach you
Mhm.
how to deal with this.
Shoot, we
You
could
know what I
do
mean?
cross training with bus drivers. Like we,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
let's all get in the room and say, "Hey, listen, I'm from here. I've driven for here, so on and so forth. You driving the next year." Having these conversations, having that dialogue to better understand. I've never. This is to be honest with you, I've never thought of this until this conversation. So this is why I love having conversations.
Right.
But one of the things that Pastor Tim and I talked about last week, he brought up a pretty interesting um, proposal, if you will, because what I told him, the majority of the students that do get rid up, the majority of the students that have the highest rates of misbehavior are Black and brown students. It's heavier in our community. And I told him I don't have so much of an issue on my bus because of the culture that I set on my bus and how I speak to my kids, the rapport I build with them, my consistency, my firmness. They know what I'm okay with. They know what I'm not okay with. They're always going to try you, here and there. That they're
Mhm.
kids at the end of the day. But I set a certain standard and I have a certain way that I carry myself. And he was speaking about proposing that we have African American male monitors on these buses that have predominantly misbehaved children.
Right.
Because with most of us comes a certain temperament, comes a certain presence. Sometimes, we command presence without opening our mouths or saying anything.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
me walking on that bus and you seeing my stature, how I'm dressed, and the other, you like, nah, I'm not gonna mess with it. I can see you hopping on the bus and say, yo, all you gotta do is say, yo, just like
right.
Yeah, but that's what happened to me today too. I looked up on the bus, they was in the back. I said, yo. That's all I said. I didn't have to say nothing else. I didn't say sit down, be quiet. My yo was all they needed to hear because they knew what was gonna come next. And they said, nah, let me chill. So I thought that was a very interesting proposal, which I think could be beneficial. There's a lot of legalities and it's gonna be mountains to climb to make that happen. But ultimately, I thought that was a pretty cool idea. That could be beneficial for those trouble schools like your Minor Daniels, that transport predominantly, Black and brown students that have behavioral issues.
Right.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that's a great idea, but let's think a little deeper into that. Like when I was actually in the classroom, I taught at Ballard for years, right? So there were the West End, the quote unquote West End buses. They're the only buses that set 3 to a seat. They're the only buses that was really uncomfortable.
You say Ballard High School?
Yeah.
The high school was 3 to a seat? Oh
man, bro. There was many times, even at Doss, bro. Like there were many bus rides and kids were sitting 3 to a seat on the way to school. Now you kind of loosen it up because a lot of kids play sports, right? A lot of kids are gone here and there and they're not riding the bus in the afternoon. But in the morning, you're sitting 3 to a seat, bro. So if I'm a kid, I'm already may not have had the greatest night of sleep. Ain't no telling what's going on in that kid's crib. And see, Carla just said, Carla's one of mine. But you sitting 3 to a seat and you already mad because I didn't get a good night's sleep. I probably didn't eat breakfast yet. I'm sleepy. I'm on this bus. Half my butt's hanging off the seat because I'm sitting with 2 other people. You know what I mean? Like, so my mentality at this point is I'm about to wild out. You know what I mean? And how come the other buses weren't like that? You know what I mean? Like, why didn't we have more room on the bus? And the parents complain like, hey, my kid's sitting in the aisle.
Right.
My kid's doing X, Y, and Z. Oh, we just don't have enough. We could create a different stop, put them on a different bus. Like, I don't know, logistically, we could have done something to that. It wouldn't matter. Go ahead and, Pastor Tim's suggestion was great. But think about this too. Where are they going to sit? It's illegal to have somebody standing.
If they pass, which it seems like they're going to do, they're going to pass the new plan.
Right,
there's going to be
room.
room.
Now it's going to be room. Exactly. It's going to be room now. But who's losing in that though? Who's going to end up losing in that?
We are. I mean, we're already like once they pass it, we're already sort of taking the L.
Right. So the L's that are going to be had. Like I'm a Mill High School alumni, right? We were already at that point when I was at Mill, we were already a small percentage of what the school was, right? Now you take that small percentage away, what are you left with? You send them back to what do you send them back to? You send them back to their home schools, send them back to their neighborhood schools. Sounds like a big S word to me, right?
Absolutely.
Let's send them back. Let's get them out of our great schools. Let's get them out of our Mills, our Manuals, our Ballards. Yeah. So Ballard loses buses, loses about 500 kids. Where are you thinking 500 kids are going to be left from?
Yeah.
Yeah. The West.
You don't have to mince words per se.
Right.
Just having conversation, man. Because that's one of the same things that Pastor Tim hit on. and he he went more so even at the legislative level of politicians, the people in power have been pushing for another I don't want to say round, but another perspective of segregation.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what will happen. If you're talking about Versailles schools, in most of the neighborhoods, they look like the black and brown communities are black and brown communities, white communities, so on and so forth. The city is not exactly the most integrated to begin
Not at
with.
all. Not at
So
all.
when you talk about kids going to their Versailles schools, that's what it's going to look like. Which is why I better understand, because as a bus driver, I'm just like, these kids are bad. These kids doom 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 doom. And that's because that's what I see day to day. That's what I experience day to day. That's what I hear day to day. But the overall grand scheme of things, the big picture of what this will look like and what this will do, how it will hurt our community. I'm appreciative of like the Metro City Council and these different organizations trying to come together. Pastor Tim was talking about them trying to get buses for the Newburgh and I think the Russell neighborhood, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But us coming together as Black and brown communities, trying to find resolutions so that our kids don't suffer from these decisions that are being made that are at a disadvantage primarily to us.
Right. Right. And I agree to that too. And I'm glad those things are happening as well. And they need to happen, right? But we also need to kind of change the narratives of some of the schools that are quote unquote the bad schools, right? Shawnee has improved drastically over the last 10 years, right? 5 to 10 years. But if I'm from Louisville and I'm in the West, I don't want to send my kid to Shawnee, right? I don't want to send my kid to a number of these schools because they have this reputation over the years, the stigma over the years that now mentally I'm like, I don't want to send them there, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to try to get their kid into the males. Everybody wants to try to get their kids into the manuals, the Ballards, the higher echelon, the Easterns, the higher echelons of schools. And the issue isn't necessarily what goes on in these buildings. Everybody's like, well, these schools get less education than these schools. It's not even that, right? If you teach these teachers how better to manage their classrooms, if you give these kids more of a consequence to their action, they change, right? They don't act the way, because they're going to act the way they're allowed to act. They're going to get around the way they allowed to get around.
And they know the system.
And they know the system.
They know what they can get away with. They know what the consequences if they do this thing is. And they weigh that out and they say, I'm cool with getting suspended for 3 days. I'm cool. I can catch the tart. I can, get suspended off the bus, this, that, and the other. They're cool with it.
They're cool with it. Here's the thing. When I was at Mill, man, it was, if you did 1 or 2 things wrong, you didn't go to Mill anymore. If you was at Butler, if you did 1 or 2 things wrong, you didn't go to Butler anymore. If you was at Ballard, you did 1 or 2 things wrong, you didn't go to these schools anymore. Mm-hmm. That situation, that is gone. That consequence is completely gone, right? So what's the consequence? If I act a fool today in my class, you can't put me out. I ain't going nowhere. I'll be back and I'll be acting a fool again. And then you got the Lulu parents that that support these kids acting the way they do. Like, come on, your kid is wrong. Your kid is bad. If your kid is bad, your kid is bad.
Yeah.
If you come up to school defending that badness because it's always somebody else's fault, then you're giving them you're giving them a victim mentality that now I'm the victim every time something goes wrong.
Right.
Now, if you give somebody a consequence to their action on a regular basis that actually sits in, then they'll change the way they act. But we've loosened the reins so much. Like Mel can't even put kids out anymore. So all of a sudden you got all of these fights at Mel High School all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In other places too, Ballard, all these other places, man. There's fights happening all the time. And it ain't just kids look like us. It's not too. Like everybody is wilding out because they feel like they can. They
It's
feel
a
like
free
kids
for all,
feel like
low
yep.
key.
Kids
One
feel
day,
like they can
one day
say
I walk
what.
to school and I'm gonna see that scene from Lean on Me where a dude was, "Welcome to the jungle." I'm like, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
where we are, bro. Like, I walk
Man,
in because now, you know, and I fully support. I fully support the new security systems that they put
yeah.
in place. They're needed. But like
Mm-hmm.
when I walked in when Southern, I think Southern was my no, Atherton was the first school I walked in. But when I walked into Southern for a reason, when I walked into Southern, I walked in there. I mean, like it was like the I was like, yo, I don't know why I'm feeling this right now. And so, you
Right.
know, but yeah, man, it's Wild Wild West ish, and we understand that one of the biggest reasons for this, you know, is money. You know, they need kids in the seats in order to make the money to support the school system. We get it. That cyclical that process, the way that looks, but it's like, how much are we sacrificing? Because there's many of these kids that we're trying to I'm gonna put this on her. Save. I don't want to say it like that. You've got kids in the classroom that aren't learning because teachers are constantly having to deal with behavioral issues. You got kids
Right.
trying to get educated, but I have to spend the first, you know, teacher has to spend the first 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes of the class trying to calm the troubled ones down. And you know, you
Right.
talk about, and then you add that to kids mixing class from busing. So, you know, you got the bus driver shortage. Kids are already getting to school maybe a little bit late. And then they
Mm-hmm.
get it. They really didn't miss anything because Miss Johnson is over here trying to discipline this, that, and the other. So it's like, how much instructional time is actually instructional time?
Right. And that's a major concern. I heard a school the other day. The kids don't even get to school till second period, like on the bus. And this is an everyday thing. So they're literally missing all
The
this
entire
class
class.
time. And I know they're failing. They got to be failing because they're not going to class. Like, are they
Or
giving
they're passing.
or they're passing? That's or they're passing.
I'm
Right.
not saying that
So
I'm not saying
you're
that's
right.
for sure is happening. Don't nobody go out there and say Mr. Rita said
Right.
this. Don't do that. I'm just saying if they're missing the class and they're passing,
Yeah, that's an issue.
but but I mean, you know, again, we're just having conversation, bro. And I'm not expecting
Right. Yeah.
solution right now tonight. But I'm having these conversations with as many people as I can, to for other people to join the conversation, be a part of it, think of solutions, think of you know, getting different perspectives of what we're experiencing, what we're dealing with.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm not a parent. I can hear you. I got you back. What parents are dealing with, what students are dealing with, educators. Can you hear me? I got you, bro. You're going in and out, but I can hear you. All right, we'll let him get that figured out. I'm gonna hop in the comments for just a second. I'm seeing y'all been in conversation. I've been ignoring y'all, so I apologize. I've been in the car. He and I going back and forth. Let me see if I see some things here. I know y'all were talking about 3 to a seat, 3 to a seat. Now let me help you out really quick. 3 to a seat is ridiculous, but it is the legal amount of children that can be on the bus. The bus holds, a regular school bus holds 66 students. That is 3 to a seat, which extends also to high school. So legally, without any safety, without breaking any safety protocols, we can have 3 kids to a seat. I've experienced it.
Let's see. Let's leave and come back.
I got you back, bro. I got you. Oh, not anymore. He's gone. But yeah, you can legally have 3 kids to a seat. It's not ideal at all because these are kids that are almost adults. But that's the way it rocks. That's the way it rocks. Let me hop into the comments really quick here. Carla says that behavioral handbook changed. Guns, fights, drugs with no consequences. That's crazy. So if you're not familiar, you know, bus drivers, as Coach Farmer and I was discussing, you know, bus drivers back in the day had a little more power, a little more authority. Really, school back in the day was just different. Even teachers did, you know. spanking, paddling. I don't know how far back that was, but that used to be an okay thing. But the extent of which teachers could discipline even bus drivers and so on and so forth, I believe, because I don't recall seeing the issues that I have that we're having now as far as behavior. We didn't have this when I was in school. Not to say it didn't exist, but to the extent that it's happening now, I've never seen these things happen so frequently on a day-to-day basis in schools, on buses, so on and so forth. And the teachers, these school systems not having the types of disciplinary actions that would inflict incite change in these students' behavior. It's just not there. Which again, they know the system, know what they can get away with, what they can't get away with, and it's just like it's crazy out here. But let me bring him back on. I think I got him back. Let me throw you back in here, bro.
There we go. Okay.
There we go. Got you. Carl, you said you didn't see some of those students, Ricky. What students? What you talking about? Were you one of those students, Carla? Probably was.
Nah, Carla was a good kid, man. Nah, she was one of Dawson's best.
The laugh behind it doesn't support what you just said.
Listen here, Doss was an experience.
I believe it.
Listen, I cherish every minute I was there, but listen, it was an experience.
Man, let me give a quick shout out really quick. I don't know if he's still on here. Mr. Stites, Michael Stites he's now a counselor over at Butler Traditional High School. He was my band director back when I was at Butler, man. Dude, he was the best to do it. That was my guy, man. He really talked, he really cared about us. And I got a chance to rap with him about a year or two ago when I was working at Sullivan University, which is really cool. So, Mr. Stites, if you still here, bro, if you see this, man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate everything you did for us at Butler. And I see you still there as a counselor, I believe. So keep going. But all right, man. We're gonna wrap this up here in just a moment, man. I try to keep it at around under an hour. People start logging off. They're like, I'm ready to go to bed. People on the rewind say like, an hour. So they don't want to hang on too long. But before we head out, before I let you go, I'm gonna address my audience for just a second. Is there anything that you would like to share? Any advice? Any counsel? Any words of wisdom to the parents out there that are dealing with students that are going to be a little displaced with busing, or even the kids that are perfectly fine with the way the system is set up? I'll yield you a few moments if you have anything. I know I put you on.
You good. For the parents, man, just be patient. Be patient. Set up a plan, because however you got to get your kid to school or get them home, man, have a plan for that. You know what I mean? You got a few months before this actually hits and goes. You know what's coming, so plan for it. Have a strategic plan. Have people in place that could help you out, or you can help them out. Carpool. There's a lot of different ways you can make this happen, man. You just got to be patient. Instead of complaining about the problem, find a solution for yourself. You know what I mean? Find a solution for while this is happening, until there's a better solution, until there's a better way this district figures this thing out. We're going to have to ride the wave of what it is, unfortunately. So set yourself up time to create a plan, create a way to make it work for you and for the people around you. If you do that, then it won't be so bad. Now, if in fact you have to leave the school that you're at because of transportation issues, do that too, but be very aware of where you're sending your kid. Be very aware of what, every kid doesn't fit every school, right? We used to say, anyone can, but male does. All kids didn't fit in that traditional program, right? All kids didn't fit in at Butler. All kids don't fit in at Western. You know what I mean? Just depending on where you are and where you go, like, you just have to figure out where your kid might fit in the best and try to get them there. You know what I mean? If you really want, my daughter is at Brown. Like, I really like Brown. I really like the way Brown is. There has never been buses at Brown. So
right. Yeah.
Me and mom had to come up with a plan to pick up my daughter, take her home, you know what I mean, and take her to school every day. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Now we do enlist help. We do enlist help from other family members. Now I know a lot of people don't have, may not have that, but if you come up with a plan, I'm sure something can shake. So just be patient with it, man. Just take some time with it and plan ahead.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolute words of wisdom. I fully support that, man. We are aware of what's happening months in advance. So it is our responsibility to, as parents, I'm not a parent, but it's your responsibility. It's our responsibility as a community to start planning to deal with the issue that's coming. Parents, citizens, aunts, uncles, if you are involved in this, please just come here really quick, y'all. This is not something you should procrastinate, okay? I couldn't say the
Not at
word
all.
procrastinate for a second. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait till
Oh,
August. Don't wait till late July. Don't wait. Start planning now.
right
Start calling
now.
your auntie, uncle, cousins, and them. Start talking with people in your neighborhood. Start getting on forums. Start getting involved. There are different councils and bodies in the community that are trying to find ways to service the students that are displaced. So look for those people, look for those communities, look for those councils, look for these things. Please
Hmm.
don't wait. Don't be that
Right.
person. Don't be that parent. Like they're gonna work it, they'll figure it out, and then don't do that. Because a
Right.
lot of y'all
Right.
did a lot of y'all did this for what just happened back in August.
Hmm.
Not a lot of y'all didn't know that your child would have a different bus from the morning and the afternoon. You didn't know they were gonna have a different stop, some of them from the morning and after. You didn't know this.
Right. Or
Okay,
or you didn't know what time your school was gonna
school
start
started
or end.
or let out.
Come on.
Come
Get,
on now. Don't be
get
that parent.
don't
Don't
be
be that
that
parent.
parent.
Every JCPS parent or guardian knows what's happening.
Yep.
You should know what's happening. It's in the
Hmm.
news, it's on Facebook, it's on Instagram, it's everywhere. It's all over the city. It's with every other parent. So don't please just don't for the sake of your child and their education and their
For the
safety.
Hey,
Okay.
can I just say one thing though
Go
too?
ahead, go ahead.
I really, the biggest message I want to send to all parents everywhere is, if you see issues with your school, if you see issues with the things going on with your child, address those things with that school and that child before you go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of these things that don't help the situation. And if you're gonna come with some type of solution or option so that the people in those places can try to figure out how to better help you. Because little do a lot of parents know, there is a brain trust in all of these schools, and they are scrambling, trying to figure out how to better these situations, how to work for these kids, how to help these kids. And I think a
Mhm.
lot of people, they want what they want right now and don't want to take the time to say, you know what, let's offer them options.
Mhm.
Let's offer them things. Hopefully they can make this thing work for everybody. And here's the thing, nobody's going to be happy with whatever decision is made. A lot of people won't be, but at least your voice might be heard a little more if you don't go to all of the social media sites and complain first before you try to go get some real help.
Listen, man, you hop into my thought. So that was gonna be my sign off material, but since you in it, we'll be in it.
Hey, listen,
Absolutely, bro.
we've been connected so long. I
Right.
mean, we one of one.
Absolutely, man. I'm gonna give this analogy really quick because I went to a restaurant. I think it was Saturday,
Mm.
and I went to get some wings. Every time I order wings from this place, I always order. I probably shouldn't have said that. No. Every time I get wings from the place, I always order sweet potato fries,
Right.
and they never have them. Right? I order them. When I get there, I expect to have them. They will put regular fries in my bag and not tell me anything. They don't call and say, "Hey, just so you know, we don't have those. Would you like to substitute them for, or when I pull up, when I pull up, I take it, and I'm like, I have to ask them, are these sweet potato? Oh no, they're regular. So you weren't even going to tell me. You were just going to get.
Yeah.
I had to pay for this. You're going to give me the wrong order, not say anything. That's what we doing here. Okay. So I know the owner. And I told him, I said, he and I had a conversation, and this was not to demean his business, not to down who he's hired or anything like this. I did this because I want to support the business. I want to see the business succeed. So I want to hold you accountable. I need to let you know where you're falling short, because at the end of the day, y'all are offering me a service, you're feeding me, but I want to eat here. I want to see this succeed, and I want to enjoy my food. So instead of me just dealing with it or hopping on Facebook or hopping on Yelp or just doing all this extra stuff, I went to the source and said, hey, before I write a review, anything like that, man, let me holler at you really quick. But we all have that same type of authority and power. You have a voice. I know a lot of people, our mutual friend and I, we were talking, and she was like, they need to do better. I pay taxes for them to do better. I'm like, you are not wrong in that aspect. They are getting paid to do this. Even though they're getting paid to do this, it doesn't mean they know everything. They don't know everything about your experience. They don't know everything about the people in your neighborhood's experience. Not everyone on that in that brain trust or on that council is well versed in all things, all community, all cultures. Which is why you have the voice to speak up and say something if you are having an issue. If you have a suggestion, come to the town hall meetings, come to those forums where your voice can be heard. Be an active participant in affecting change and hopefully solutions for the issues that we are facing as a community. So I'm encouraging this. Last week we talked about understanding, politics, who you're voting for, understanding the candidates, their backdrops, not just going there filling out bubbles because you don't know anything, but being well versed in the legislation and the rules and the regulations that are being passed that directly affect us. We have to understand these things. I know I'm traveling. I'm going to a different place here, but this is all in the same thing, man. So I totally before hopping on Facebook to complain, did you talk to the teacher? Did you talk to the principal? Did you at least try to set up a meeting? Did you voice your concerns? Did you give them ample time to try to address and resolve the conflict before you just got really loud about what happened? Being boisterous about something doesn't automatically mean there's gonna be a solution that comes with that. So I totally support that, man. I'm not gonna hold you any longer, bro. I got a few more things, but I'm not gonna hold you. If you want to stay on the live, I'm gonna mute you here and throw you off the screen. But man, thank you so much, Coach Farmer, athletic director for WEB Du Bois, man. We appreciate you stopping by the Bus Driver Chronicles tonight. Great conversation, man. And I will holler at you soon. All right, bro.
I appreciate you having me, and thank everybody for watching.
Yes, sir. All right, folks. Again, man, thank y'all so much for tuning into the Bus Driver Chronicles tonight. I hope that tonight's conversation gave you some new perspectives, some things to think on, some things to converse with your fellow parents, cousins, aunties, uncles, neighbors, school officiants, whomever. Again, I love having conversations because every time I have a conversation, I gain a perspective that I didn't think about, or I come up with ideas I didn't think about if it had not been sparked by the conversation. So, yeah, thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. Before we go, something that I need everyone to know before you hop off, I actually meant to mention this at the top of the live tonight. Tomorrow, I want y'all to know this. Hope y'all still here. I'm gonna make a post too. Tomorrow is National Bus Driver Appreciation Day. Is that tomorrow, tomorrow the 23rd, April 23rd. Boom, right there. I actually thought it was the end of the week. Oh my gosh. But tomorrow is National Bus Driver Appreciation Day. So listen, man, if your child rides the bus, show some appreciation to the bus driver. If you want to send them a little note or a little gift card, or just if you're at the stop, just say, hey, we appreciate you. We appreciate you being here. I know my parents better appreciate me. I'm on time. I deliver. I don't have any problems. Your kid gets off the bus the same way they got on. So do me a favor, man. Make sure you show some appreciation to your bus driver. I want to throw this on here. If anyone would like to support the Bus Driver Chronicles, I hear often a lot of people say, hey, appreciate your support you. And it was like, if there's anything you need, this and the other. There's nothing that I need per se. However, if you want to show your appreciation monetarily, you may do so. I've got the QR code up right there. It's just my first and last name, Ricky Reedus. I was going to make it Bus Driver Chronicles and all this stuff. The longer the name, the more opportunity for you to misspell something. So hopefully you can't misspell my name. It's right there. So if you want to donate, if you want to support the Bus Driver Chronicles, you may do so via Cash App. Understanding the streaming service that I use is not free. So if you want to go to support with me paying for the streaming service month after month, I do get snacks and stuff like that for my kids that are well behaved. Not for every last one of my kids, that they keep my bus clean. If they're behaving well, at the end of the week, I got a little something for them. So if y'all want to support good behavior on my bus, feel free to give through the Cash App. It's just $, Ricky Reedus. Again, that's $, Ricky Reedus, if you want to monetarily support the Bus Driver Chronicles. I'm here week after week. We creating content, trying to keep you all abreast about what's happening in not just JCPS, but just bus drivers as a whole. As y'all know, I try to find levity in all of this, so it's all fun and laughter for the most part, but sometimes we got to have real conversations about real situations, which is kind of what we're kind of going through right now in our school system. But to each of you that log on, that hop on, in and out, or stay through the whole time on Monday nights, thank you so much for supporting the Bus Driver Chronicles. Thank you so much for supporting the content that I put out, be it a live, be it a post. I really, really appreciate the ones that comment, that like, that share, the ones that stop me out on the streets when I'm out on the bus or in Kroger and all of this stuff, that, holler at me, telling me they appreciate what I do. Thank you so much. It is very encouraging, and it does help on the day-to-day of what we deal with as bus drivers. But listen, man, we are right at we're past 9 o'clock, so I'm hopping off here. Thank y'all so much for tuning into the Bus Driver Chronicles. As always, the wheels on the bus will continue to go round and round. You'll have a great evening.